Insecurities. What does Bob have to be insecure about? Being poor. But I think financial insecurity is just a thing that plagues America and other countries, but financial insecurity is just the nature of things, and it's just going to get worse. Tax cuts for the ultra rich, all that shit. I've already explained economically where all the problems is and how easy they are to fix, but people are going to do the dumb thing because they're dumbasses. Ain't shit you can do about it. My learning comprehension disorder. When I was in the special ed class, one of the things I witnessed time and time again, because there was this weird focus on self-esteem. Now, I personally, for the longest time, believed that self-esteem was just made up. It was just a stupid thing that they put into self-help books, and then we're like, self-esteem, and to be fair to myself, it is a rich fuck thing, because what happened basically with the self-esteem movement, it happened in the 70s, and that was the start of the wealth disparity between people, and the wealthy people said, you know what? My kid is confident, my kid is smart, and this is a genetic trait. And then they found out it wasn't a genetic trait, and then they learned that other people could develop it. But then they were like, why isn't the poor class willing to take risks and do incredibly stupid things to get money? And it's because they lack self-confidence. Now, the truth is because, you can take all the risks you want if you have infinite money and can infinitely bail yourself out. When you're poor, you save up a large amount of money, you take a risk starting up a business, that business fails, and then you're broke the rest of your life. That is what happens. That is the nature of things. Okay. Yeah, that's how that works. I know it's very complicated. You're probably going to want somebody intelligent to explain it to you. But, yeah. So, in regards to that statement, when I was in the special ed room, that was 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, I would often write in my journal, I just wished I could be as smart as everybody else. Yeah. As a result, I was hypercritical of myself on learning things. I had a fixation on learning big words so I could pretend to be smart. Yeah. I did a bunch of these super insecure things, believing that if I could just prove I was intelligent, and here's the truth, I was just running from myself. Intelligence isn't a prerequisite for anything. That's how Republicans get into office. They're incredibly stupid, and people vote them in all the time. And the subject of leaders, people do not elect intelligent leaders because intelligence is terrifying. It is one of the most scary things on the planet. And if you ever look up like any supervillain ever, the smart guy is always evil. Okay, the closest thing you get to an intelligent guy being a good guy is like Batman, but he's also rich. Okay, I would put my hat on. There is probably no supervillain there's no superhero whose strict ability is just purely intelligence. They are just smarter than the other guy all the time. Okay. I would argue that because intelligence is that terrifying. That's why Brainiac is a bad guy. Now, in regards to this statement about my insecurities, having a learning comprehension disorder really fucked with me growing up. I could read something 1,000 times and the only thing I would get is feverish headaches. The same way when I was trying to learn Pro C, I started having flashbacks to not being able to learn and I started freaking out. It is because my brain does not work. That is a fact. But when I was in the special ed room, I got to witness, and this is the thing, I didn't have introspective, I didn't realize I do this too. Everybody in that room felt like they were inadequate because they were told they had autism. And when you're told you have autism, basically, what does that mean? It means you're subpar. It means you're inadequate. It means you're not as good as this other guy. If you have ADD or ADHD, there's something wrong with you. You're defective. That's what that means. That's how it comes across, especially in a child's mind. So, yeah. other times you run into a problem where somebody's like, I have this, therefore it is my excuse for everything I do, which sometimes they're legitimately correct and sometimes they're legitimately wrong. I remember briefly we had an anger management kid, and this girl figured out he would just get pissed about everything, so she just kept fucking pissing him off, and he kept freaking out and then screaming it's because he has anger management. Yes, those two things do go hand in hand, but honestly the girl shouldn't have just been constantly harassing him, but whatever. They call that torture, by the way. Now, multiple times my teacher approached me and was telling me, you're intelligent, you're a smart person, and I would just get mad because they're kind of programmed to give you the generic bullshit. They don't tell you the truth, and that's one of the things I learned early on in life, is people just don't tell you the truth. They think you're a weak person. They think you can't handle it. And, yeah, yeah. So, basically, I guess I kind of internalized the representation that I was inherently stupid, which I am. Think about how badly I fucked all this shit up. Does this sound like an intelligent person thing to do? To be fair to myself, I was extra stupid because they were giving me heavy metals, but whatever. I do wonder now if the narcissistic tactic with Stu and the stupid motherfuckers at this church, and I guarantee you I'm 1,000,000,000% right on this, was to poison me with heavy metals to prove I was stupid, because once again, they're fastidious. They say something and then they make it happen. Stu's like, you're stupid, and then he makes you stupid because he's stupid and he can't handle it, okay? So it's your fault because he can't live in reality, because when reality objectively is against his fake facade. And this is the thing with all these people, goodness is a virtue signal. Goodness is a facade with them. Raping kids and doing all the horrible shit, that's standard. That's the good thing, okay? Pretending to be good is more important than actually being good. Everything's a facade. Everything's a virtue signal. This is why you should never be a Republican, because this entire church is a Republican entity. And I do not care that there are some people in the church that are like, I'm actually a Democrat. No. They haven't evaluated their values correctly, because you wouldn't be a part of this church if you were a Democrat. Your church is a fascist entity. Fascism is a right-wing entity. Therefore, you are a fascist. You are a hard right-winger if you are a part of this church. You have no choice in the matter, and I do not care what you say about being a Democrat. You're not. Because your church's governing system is fascism. Common sense. You don't have to be smart to figure it out. So, yeah. So, basically, my insecurities in life is the fact that I have a learning comprehension disorder, and there's just certain things I can't learn. Yeah. Even psychology was something that was easy for me to learn because it wasn't like written language or any of that other shit. I wasn't reading something or listening to something over and over. I was just doing it. And because I was just doing it, I could do it. One of the things my teacher pointed out to me is I learn things pretty well when I'm assisted in learning, but I'm horrible at learning things when I am just left to my own devices because something about my brain, I just don't have those components. That's right. I can't be self-taught. This came up when I was trying to learn how to play the guitar, and the guy that was playing the guitar, they made these videos at Walmart, and the guy that was playing the guitar was left-handed, and it was as simple as you had to play the guitar, but you had to invert his instructions while playing the guitar, and I started crying and freaking out and getting pissed off because I couldn't do it. And I just sat in my room screaming probably for about a week before I eventually just was like, it's not worth it. Like, Bobby, you're fucking in constant pain because your brain's constantly being destroyed. And I would argue, I wouldn't be surprised if you scanned my brain and saw there was literal damage from my brain being forced to do something it simply cannot do. I wouldn't be surprised if when I was developing Alzheimer's from having the heavy metal damage, is if I already have, because Alzheimer's is just scar tissue on the brain. It wouldn't surprise me if I do have some type of Alzheimer's in my brain. I have no evidence to support this. It's just a thing with me. But yeah. So, Anyways, I went through my entire life with my learning comprehension disorder, and then it was made progressively worse by Stu and these fuckers at the church, because they don't help people, they make the problem worse, and the whole idea is to get you to surrender so that you give up to their stupid fucking church where they anally rape you, beat you, and treat you like shit, and then scream, "Ah, I'm better! This is how it works! I cripple you, and then I win!" And then if you did it to them, they murder you, because they don't do that. One of the biggest lies at this church is one of the rules is do unto others as they do to you. If I could do that, then you guys would be perfectly okay with me poisoning Stu and beating him and shooting him in the head. And then you'd go, well, he did that to Bobby. It's okay for him to do it to Stu. You're not going to do it, and I guarantee you, you people at that church are not going to do it. Keep in mind, part of these videos are just venting. Fucking, yeah. And I think, like, maybe I should have thought more about this, but like, I guess this is part of thought processing. And I think one of my biggest fears in life is just something I'm dealing with right now, and I guess this is just, maybe it's good for me mentally, I guess, is I was absolutely terrified of being in a position where I had to perform or I had to do something and I couldn't do it because I have a processing disorder. They call it a cognitive deficiency, whatever you want to call it, just means I'm stupid. But it's a processing disorder. And when I was growing up, I was terrified of people finding out, like, I was stupid. And I knew I was stupid. I knew I'd never be good enough for anybody. In fact, my entire life, growing up, I actually never wanted to have kids, and I never do want to have kids. Very specifically because I have a processing disorder, and it's genetic. I would have stupid kids. There's no reason for those kids to exist. What are they going to do? Be fucking miserable their entire life? Like, whatever. But the other side of my genetics is I have an extra dense skeleton, and I think that would be a really good thing to pass on. But I don't know if having the extra dense skeleton and being stupid are tied together, but maybe they are. Maybe that's what happens when you have an extra dense skeleton. You're just extra stupid also. Maybe part of the density of the skeleton crushes the brain. I could sit here all day and make shit up. I don't fucking know. Yeah. Yeah, so I think, I don't know, when you fear something, it inevitably finds you, and maybe that's all that happened, is, we are here now because I was terrified to begin with, that at some point in my miserable fucking existence, I would be in a position where I could be something great, I could have something, but then my learning comprehension disorder would just rob me of it. And I think that's where we're at now, and even when I was in that racetrack gas station, I remember telling Anal Eating Mummy God how fucking terrified I was of signing that paper because I knew it would never get undone. It would never be fucking undone. And I remember him being like, oh no, don't. And just, and they always hit you, confidence, it's not confidence. If somebody doesn't have legs, they can't run. Okay? What you're looking for isn't there. Okay, and I run into this so many times in my life, and I don't think people mean well, but it's a form of torture, because they're constantly telling you to do something you simply can't do. So yeah, my insecurity is I put on like I'm super and smart and intelligent and I know everything, when actuality I'm actually incredibly stupid. But the other side of the reason why I am so hard about trying to get, this is the thing about life. I remember my manager said this to me. His name was Otter, and he was just like, I got tired of being a Republican because I got tired of being fucking wrong all the time. Like, that is just a fact about life, okay? And like, the same thing occurred in my life, where I just was obsessed with getting it right. Like, I wanted to know what the problems was, and to be fair, maybe my obsession with wanting to know what all the problems were was the thing that led me to reporting this church and meeting Stu and trying to help Amanda and all these things. Because if you think about, like, everything that was put together, altruist, to do the right thing, fucking Stu told me he ran a human trafficking ring. That's where I found out. I found out from Stu. He was the first person. Anal Eating Mummy God mentioned he ran a human trafficking ring, but he only human trafficked bad people. To which I asked him, I was like, are the bad people, like, actual bad people, or are they just people who said words you didn't like and you overreacted? And he went, argh! So So, that was I only put people in prison that I don't like because they hurt my feelings and I think like a 2-year-old even though I'm 88 years old. Yeah. So, yeah, and if I put it all together, yeah, I wanted to help people and I wanted to figure out what all the problems was in society so I could fix them. Or at least I could build a blueprint. And maybe I'm that guy. Maybe I'm the guy that's supposed to build the blueprint on how to fix this and give it to the next smart guy to actually do the fucking problems because the universe crippled me with fucking having a learning comprehension disorder. And maybe that's just the truth about things. Like, fucking, when I was talking to Anal Eating Mummy God and Blondie was like, all you gotta do is figure out Procé and then file and I was just like, that's amazing. Or this guy, like basically, this guy just has to figure out Procé and then file and I was just like, okay, so this guy just has to, I was like, that's cool and everything. I was like, it's a good thing he doesn't have a learning comprehension disorder like me or this entire plan is fucked. And then Blondie went, argh! Because he's a dumbass. And this is the thing about me. I am a dumbass. I have a learning comprehension disorder, so I know a dumbass when I see a dumbass. Alright? Blondie is a certified dumbass, and somebody should tell him every day, Blondie, you're a dumbass. Okay? I don't know, give him a certificate. Maybe give every church leader a certificate. Like, I don't fucking care. There's nothing I can do about it, but yeah. So I guess in the shorthand, I'm a stupid person that's insecure about people finding out he's stupid. And I guess that's a big chunk of my insecurities. I mean, the other side of my insecurities is like, I don't know. I'm not a smart person. But the other side is, I've said it 100 times, I know I'm right. And that is something I cannot doubt in my mind. Ever. That's just how I be. They call it being, stalwart, or, resolute, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's me. I don't know what the fixation is on people being thrilled to death about being the stupidest son of a bitch in the room, but I'm under and over it, personally. Yeah.